This story go long, man. Okay, let's do this. Hi, my name is Adesola Balogun. I'm the creative director of Outspoken Bespoke Tailors. I grew up in Lagos. My siblings, I have two brothers and a sister. Both of my parents were entrepreneurs. My mom still has a store in Alagomeji part of Yaba, which is in Lagos. My mom did a variety of work. She started, actually trained as a beauty and cosmetologist, then moved to selling provisions, what you call provisions, that's daily needs, then moved to having a gift store, then moved to selling household items, which she does now. So a greater part of our holidays, every time we were on break, she would say, you know what, you have to come and work for me. My dad was more, I mean, it was after he passed. Sadly, he passed in 2019. It was after he passed, I realized that he too did, under the umbrella of my dad was a businessman, but his own type of business wasn't as, would I say, loud, and it wasn't as loud about his kind of business like my mom was. So it is no mistake that out of four of us, three of us are entrepreneurs. My younger brother, he's more into more structured work, and so I would say my foray into business was largely influenced by my mom, who we learned the rudiments of business from her. Childhood was great. Schooled in Lagos up until university, where I schooled in University of Technology at Akure, Futa. From 2002 2007, which is where Outspoken as a business started. Like I said, I attended the Federal University of Technology in 2002. My dad funded my education. I'm the third of four children, and so as he was getting to my own to fund my education, I found out that, like I said, he wasn't the type to voice a lot of things. He was going through a lot of financial issues, so allowances weren't coming as often as I would have loved. This started sometime in my second year, but of course, you were going to just rough it. The reality didn't come to me until Valentine's Day of 2004, where I wanted to take a girl out. Just something modest, and I couldn't afford it. So I borrowed money from a few friends, and it took me almost a year to pay back. It was that time I told myself that, I really, really need to do something about my situation. So now my elder brother, he has started a small business, which has started to grow, I started to make money, and so he moved to Abuja, where he was serving. I reached out to him and I said, how would it be like if I sold your shirts in school? I know that your shirts are expensive, but can you make it subsidized? We're still going back and forth. Then an ASU strike came about in 2005, and that for me was an opportunity to just pause and say, you know what exactly am I doing? Do I still want to go back and still go through the whole process of dad allowances are not coming and all that? Just as I was thinking about that, a roommate of mine, Chuk of Ganufa, which is a major player in this story, because every single time I have an opportunity to talk about him or talk about my business, I will always talk about him. He reached out to me and says, I want to make 3 shirts. I've sent you 10,000 naira. And I want you to bring them for me when we come back to school. And I say, first of all, one shirt at the time was maybe 7,000 naira or something, but that was how much I was selling it. Oga, this cannot work. I might need to, let me even ask him, first of all, if it will work. Of course, I knew it wasn't going to work. So I asked him and say, Oga, how far? My friend says he wants to make 3 shirts. I have 10,000. And he says, of course, you know it can't work, but you can do it. You've been following me to the market. You've been observing what I do. Why not see if it's something that you can do? I'd ask my manager, who happened to be in Lagos, to show you the ropes. So Mr. Wasio and I went to the market. He said, okay, so pick fabrics. I picked fabrics. How many yards do you need for a shirt? I did that. We went to Asumo, a tailor in the same market. I gave him measurements. I came back in 2 weeks, and the 3 shirts were ready. And my gain on those 10 shirts was 3,550 naira. And I'm like, is that how easy it is to make money? Like, I can't even believe it. And so Chook's shirts were ready, and I felt, you know what, I think this is a very good way to make business. So people saw when Chooks wore the shirts, then to my roommates, then to my classmates, and then before you know it, I was clothing half of the entire school. Before you know it, I was clothing bankers in town. And so my plan was 2005, 2007, I was going to sell shirts. It will see me through school, I'll pay my rent, I'll look good. I'm able to afford more things now that I have more disposable income. I didn't think of investing. I wasn't even thinking it was going to be a business that would turn into a career. But for me, I was just happy that I was making money. I didn't have to rely on daddy. I didn't have to call home anymore. So school will finish 2007 and I'll go and look for a job. And that's how Outspoken as we know it started. So 2007 ended. I graduated in December of 2007. 2008, we were supposed to go for youth service. I got posted to Yobe State. I tell people that 2008 was probably 1 year that I didn't do anything business related because I was up north. I don't know, it felt like I was stuck. Anyways, I found my way to Lagos, and my mom had a friend who introduced me to his friend, Mr. Adesola Balogun, who I would say by every standard also played a major role in my life. I worked with Bolu Toko & Co. It's a real estate company, Essence of and Valuers. Oh, by the way, I studied urban and regional planning in university, so it's all part of environmental sciences. I served there. I didn't have a particular role. I was helping to write letters. I was assisting a lot of the estate surveyors. And so I got retained May of 2009. Service finished in March of 2009, so I got retained. By that time, what happened was people I was making shirts for would call me and say, Shola, hi, the shirts you made, man, some people saw it and they liked it. Can you come to my office and take the measurement of my colleagues? Can you take the measurement of some of my bosses? Can you take the measurement of this? Can you take the measurement of this person? And so what happened again was the clientele started growing. So I was just using that to make extra money. So it was a side hustle. Still, I wasn't thinking that it was anything major. But so what would happen is after work, I would close around 5. My office then was at Igboshere Road in Lagos Island. Which was very close to the Eco Market, same Lagos Island as well. So what would happen is after work, I take off my tie, because you're expected to dress corporate. I take off my tie, take off my jacket, change my shoes for sneakers, and I'm in the market from 6 to 10. I worked in Bolutokun from March 2009 to to January 2016, or 2016, yes. How did that happen? A year into resigning, I was becoming disillusioned because I felt I was doing the same old thing. Mr. Bolu tried to get me to, he said, you know what, now you are in the system, you should get registered as a surveyor. I tried to write the SS Surveyor's exam twice and I failed. And I felt for me, that was a sign that this is not for you, because I've never failed any exam in my life. So, after a while, I became disillusioned with the job, and the job wasn't a bad job at all. The company changed my car. I got an official car. I changed my car twice. I had access to insurance. I had access to a lot of amazing things, which I have applied even as an employer of labor today. And so what happened was, June of 2015, Mr. Bolu calls me and says, there's something going on with you. I don't know what it is, yeah? But I feel whatever it is that is distracting, that's the word he used. Whatever it is that is distracting you, you need to focus on it. You cannot do two things at the same time and give the same energy to it. So here I was thinking, this side hustle, I was doing a good job in balancing my side hustle and my 9 to 5. But it was apparent to Mr. Bolu, who was looking at me, that this whole thing isn't working. And so I started making plans to, you know what, I think I need to think of focusing on this full time. September of 2015, Tosin Olukwade, who is another major player in this story, calls me and says he has a brand currently, a culture brand called FC Accessories. And he calls me and says, oh, I have this store, because he had a store somewhere in Sulere that he had used for, he was selling shirts at the time. He's a friend of my elder brother. And so, but he shut it down for a while. He says, oh, I have this store. I didn't call him. I didn't tell him I was looking for a space, but he knew that I was making shirts. So he calls me and says, this store is ready. I haven't used it in a while. Are you interested? Or ask him how much the rent was. The rent at the time was cheap, but then he now said he did up the place a few months ago and he wants to sell everything inside it. Everything came to about 1.5 million or so. And at the time, everything I had, my savings, everything I had in total, maybe 300,000. I was going to say, no, thank you, I didn't want it. But of course, taking a leap of faith. I think this entire 10-year journey has been a leap of faith at every point in time, which I would, of course, as the story unfolds, you will hear. So I said, you know what, I'm already in the process of thinking of resigning, and I didn't want to work from home. I wanted a decision where, if I tell my mind, the same way I was driving to Victoria Island to go to the office, if I told my mind that, you know what, I'm also leaving the house and I'm driving to an office, the same energy with which I used to focus on work was the same energy I was going to use to focus on Outspok'n. So I told him that, you know what, let's do it. So I paid for the place in November of 2015. It took a while to do up the place, put it up to my style and my standard. And in January of 2016, 3rd of January to be precise, I tendered my resignation. 30 days, my last day of paid employment was the 31st of January, 30th of January 2016, because the following day, which was 31st, was a Saturday. So my first day of work as a full-time employee of Outspok'n was the 2nd of February 2016. So from the 2nd of February 2016, it was a small shop space, but it was mine. I was so excited. We had opening ceremony, my friends came. I remember one of my friends came and told me, man, you're a strong man. And indeed, looking back, it was a lot, because at the time I was married, I had a kid. And so even in communicating to my wife that, when I want to focus on doing this work full time, she was like, are you sure this is what you want to do? The moment I resigned, my car was taken, all the benefits and privileges that I had was taken from me. But I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I was 31 at the time, 32. Yes, it was shortly before my 32nd birthday. And I knew that before I had clocked 40, I needed to have built something that was mine and that was solid. So the first few years were a bit rocky, but of course, like I said, the 8 years, the 7 years plus I had in Balogun taught me structure, taught me how to deal with clients, taught me sales, taught me marketing, taught me how to pitch to customers, and so gradually we started building a client base. The second year, when we got our space at 33 Bank Olemo Street, remember, we just had a store. I was still outsourcing from my tailors at Lagos Island Market. So the turnaround time I would give customers was 2 weeks. But then I realized that I needed to shorten that time for you to be able to guarantee that customers can get their clothes when you tell them to get it. You have to be in control of your production. And so therein came up the question of, we need to have our own tailors. How do we find space? So I was going all around, because at the time, that space that we got was literally at a steal. It was a very cheap price. But then getting something close was so expensive. So I was looking at places, maybe that 5 minutes walk or a 10-minute walk. And then all of a sudden, my assistant at the time, Lekon Popola, looked opposite and said, boss, this place is vacant. Why don't we speak to the landlady and see if she would give it to us? Now, prior to that time, whenever I had money, I would just buy sewing machines, put it in my house, buy sewing machines. But so at the time, I had 3 sewing machines. So I went to meet her and I said, she already knew us from number 33. We want to expand. I think we would like to have your space. How much is it? What she was offering at the time was 2 times what we're paying as rent. And she said she wanted 2 years, of course, with agency and legal. It was a lot for me at the time. So I told her, you know what, payment plans, can I pay twice? Can I do that? And she obliged. So we took the place, we did it up, and then we started having our production space. And then from one space we had moved opposite. Our business was good, business was booming. So I feel the first few years was a combination of perseverance, faith. There are times when we'll go a whole week and we won't have any customers. But of course, there's also that thing of where you tell yourself that this is what I'm meant to be doing. I know this is what I'm meant to be doing. I will pray and ask God that God should send customers. Spoken the stories of faith and perseverance and grit and doggedness. I think there's a variety of experiences. Getting the space. We were on a roll, so an opportunity came to open another branch in Lekki. Now, I would say that in everything, partnership is good, collaboration is good. I've been blessed to be a recipient of amazing collaborations. But I would say be wary of who you partner with. Opportunity to open the Lekki store came up, and I was excited. So this gentleman who I'm familiar with, who we had done some business together, approaches me and says he wants to open a store and he is interested in that if I'm interested we could collaborate. This was May of 2019. It was a series of unfortunate events. There was COVID that happened the following year. There was the fact that the store was located in the building that was poorly managed. There was the fact that we both had different visions. And then sadly, June of 2020, we shut it down. And that for me was, I would say, one of the saddest days of my life, because I've never had to bury something before or shut anything down. And so that made me resolve that, whatever I do, I was going to be more careful with who I did it with. I had to make sure that, whoever I'm partner or collaborate with is on the same tangent, is on the same trajectory. Thankfully, a year after, I realized that space was small. 33, we were operating from too many places. And so we needed to consolidate on production and the showroom. And so January of 2021, I realized that we needed to look for a new space. And so in September of 2021, we moved to this location where we are recording, which is a far bigger space at 9B Meshenelli Street, which is also another story of faith and perseverance. We looked at the space, it had everything that we wanted. My good friend Shewan Oduyale and I were going together house, or let's say store hunting, and then we found this place and he said, oh, this is the space. How much is the rent? The rent was 5 times more than what we were paying for 33 and number 70 combined. But it had everything that we wanted. In fact, at the point I was telling him that this place is too big. I think I would sublease or sublet a part so that at least I can be getting some money to augment the rent. How wrong I was. So we were able to pay for the place, and it grew faster than I thought. And it just goes to show me that sometimes you need to look at your business the way it can be, not the way it is, because everything has the potential to grow. If you focus on it, it has the potential to grow. I was going to mention that for every single time I wanted to do something big, God would always send someone to hold my hand, because I won't say I'm much of a risk taker. Shortly before I resigned, my very good friend Shewan Badejo from uni just called me and said, I think I'd like us to partner. In my mind, partnership for me was, just give me money and I'll run with it. Yes, he did give me some money, which was a loan, But beyond that, he held my hand, because there are times when I wake up in the morning and I'm so scared. I'm like, I'm going to resign. This is something, I'm moving from the known to the unknown. He will tell me, Shola, don't worry. Everything will be fine. Everything will be okay. I'll wake up again and be like, are you sure I'm making the right decision? He said, don't worry, you're making the right decision. Everything will be fine. So a very big shout out to Sheon Badejo for he's also an important player in the 10-year story of Outspoken. Honestly, I didn't think we would get to where we are at this point. Having done showcases in Ghana, Abuja, the UK, Dubai. So I'm excited at the fact that we have a great product that is exportable, and so we are ready to launch more physical branches within Lagos for people to access our products. And of course, we would be doing many more showcases in many more cities around the world, while still consolidating on the cities where we've done showcases already. I will be launching a fashion business institute where I'll be teaching people on the business of fashion. I realize that a lot of people know fashion, but do not really understand fashion business. So you are very good with tailoring, but you're not making money as you should. And so I'll be leading a faculty of seasoned fashion business entrepreneurs, which will be a mix actually. Fashion business entrepreneurs, leaders in various sectors, accounting, marketing, branding, where we would come up with courses, one-on-one coaching, to be able to teach people how to make profit, how to build a sustainable fashion business. In fact, to coincide with this documentary, we will be launching an online course that will teach people the rudiments of running a successful fashion business enterprise. So if you're watching this, then you'll probably be among the first to know and hear about it. So those are our plans for the future. We're excited about the future. We're excited about what the future holds.